Yo. Yo, what's good, beautiful people? Welcome to In God We Trust Academy podcast tonight. Hope everybody's having a great night tonight. Just figured I'd tune in with you guys, man, and chop it up with you about some few things. Where y'all tuning in from, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let those who have the ears, the mind, and the heart to hear the nights, just know that if you fall up under the sound of my voice at any time, or happen to hear this video, this is strictly meant for you. We're going to get started here in a few more minutes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with us. Where y'all tuning in from, lock in with us, man. Don't forget to hit the share button, man. That's if you care. Trying to get back into the routine again, but we locked in for sure. All right, guys, so Just a few announcements to make to you guys right now. We got some upcoming classes, man. Paid in Full is one of our upcoming classes. This is going to be in October the 25th. Paid in Full is basically a master class where I will walk you through exactly how I use Accord and Satisfaction to settle a disputed debt with a bank, and I tendered a $25 money order and forced their hand and walked away with my car title free and clear. And I can definitely show you proof by federal records and dismissal with prejudice and things of those nature. So if you're interested in that and want to know how to issue a $25 money order under Accord of Satisfaction and the process of what it takes to do that, and fully being able to walk in court, and you also leave with a car title, you can also join this class. We have a VIP section that is also going to come with the ebook templates and things like that, but also you will be included into the workshop to make sure that you get everything done that you need to get done. Now, if you're just going to be attending without the VIP, it's also $200 donation. It's going to be on online as well, October the 24th, 2025. So they give you guys some time to do that. Paid in Full, how I erased a debt and received the car title. So don't forget about that. Also, we got the Bill of Rights class coming up next Saturday. Next Saturday, it's $50 to get in there, and you're going to be taught everything about your rights. A lot of people lack in that particular area, but we just want to make sure that you're able to grow into who you're supposed to be and being able to fully exercise your rights in that and become aware and of the law. A lot of us are not aware or do not have any form of awareness when it comes to this particular situation, especially when, in the communities, in these certain communities, urban communities and things of that nature, right? So that's also coming up. Again, that'll be 3 p.m. Central Time, September the 13th, the Bill of Rights class. You're able to get in to join that. And also our free work sessions is every Monday and Wednesdays. Don't forget that as well. So you can go to InGodWeTrustAcademy.com to be able to join and look at those things. But other than that, though, guys, man, let's talk about it, though. So today, we want to know what can fix the Black community. And I actually know. I know exactly what it is. It's not even really what do I think, it's what do I know. And what is it that we have to do in order to fix ourselves? Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about lost identity and things of that nature as well. But does it matter when it even comes to identity, especially when you start reading international law and things of that nature, and just studying the course of history when it came down to, well, look at what the United States has done. And the United States literally removing itself from under the rule of Great Britain. Now you have to ask yourself what came into play for them to be able to do that, and how they established that. Is that something that the Black community needs to do in a form of establishing law, establishing full governance over itself and things of that nature as well? But so we're going to start, and let's just, talk about this for a minute, man. Bama, what's up, TK? It's a really touchy subject for a lot of people, because what I will say this about our people, especially like just the Black community. So yes, we're going to be specifically dealing with this community tonight, and it is for that particular reason why I want to, because it needs to be spoken about. And I don't really like to say the Black community, but I am a part of that actual community as well, and just want to expand on those things. As growing up, what were we taught? What did we learn? What do we know? I know for sure that religion is major in the Black community. When I say religion, whether it be Christianity or Islam, whether it be Muslims or Christians. However, it is very, very deep when it comes into the Black community. And what have we done with this particular setting? Okay. We also know that, you know, churches back then were only allowed to preach certain things in certain ways to never let the people become into a rebellious act or rebellious manner. We do know that as well. So it's like we got to start taking these things into full consideration of what has transpired over life. So, as a religious people, and the Bible says this, that if you were to return from your wicked ways, that the land would be healed. Well, the thing is this, as much as of church going people or religious people that we claim that we are, have we turned from our wicked ways? What does that actually mean? Because a lot of people look at from the perspective of the Bible that it speaks to the actual individual man, but you got to realize that God didn't just create you specifically by yourself. I mean, there's rules and laws to your own individual governance of self, and there's also rules and laws to the governance of family, community, and so on, right? So when we look at that, God created nations, and nations are only can only be judged by God. There's nobody else that could judge a nation. So when it comes to this level, have we corrected ourselves in the manner that we supposed to be in, or have we not? And the truth is, we have not. Because why are you still in a suffering state if you have truly done everything that you are supposed to do when it comes to this? Now, one of the main things is, the black community lacks is purpose. Um, Purpose is definitely it. And if you are a knower, not just a believer, but a doer of Christ and the law itself, then you should truly understand that throughout that whole entire Bible, it speaks of nations and how nations of people created laws that oppressed others. Also, how God has already set the order for the nations of people. And that if they were to go against these lawful orders of nature, then these people will become into forms of damnation. So when we go back to First Samuel, the eighth chapter, we see that the people asked for a king and they wanted to be ruled. Instead of understanding that the law of the law was already set as by the Republican of the people, and that the order of the people was already set, and that we were only to be governed by God. But they wanted to have someone over them. And so that's the reason why all throughout the Bible, you will see that the people kept going into these different jurisdictions and governments, and they started to take the way of the people there. So that means they became idol worshipers because they started idolizing other governments. They started worshiping these particular governments, meaning that they started to the sovereignty of the governments. They got to play God with their laws and things of that nature. They created all these different forms of statues and different type of gods that was supposed to be in the ruler of their particular nation and things of that nature. So, they kept getting caught up into other people's likings. And that right there is a problem because nature's first law is self preservation. Self preservation. Put that in the chat, man, if you're with us right now. Self preservation. Let me know y'all with us. Self preservation, yo. That is the number one rule. Self preservation. Let me see it in the chat. Why is this so? If you have children, ever been around children, infants, or anything like that, you know that a child wants to do one thing. The first thing a child wants to start doing is sitting up on by themselves. So after you didn't set them up and they know what that feels like to sit up instead of constantly laying down, then they start to lift their heads up and beginning to try to sit up. and things of that nature. So that means self-preservation. So that means even to you as an individual, your mother and father was to teach you how to be self-preserved and to taking care of yourself, being mindful of your judgment, your decisions, and things of that. All of that is a form of self-preservation. So when it comes to your family, you understand that your family has to fully take care of itself, meaning that you're going to have to work, you're going to have to do everything that it takes to feed the family and continue the family and the survival of the family. Then when it comes to your people, your race of people, well, guys, we're the only group of people on the earth that doesn't seem to how can I look at it? Like, how can I say this? Like, okay, even the Asian man knows that he must put himself first and first before any other race if he wants to thrive or survive. Every race knows that. Every race has capitalized on knowing that, except for the so-called black community race. So what this means is that this means that no matter what their differences are, no matter how much they may dislike each other, or whatever the case may be, they're always going to choose the decision, make the decision that is going to make their race so-called the superior race. And a lot of you guys see something like, is there something wrong with that? And to me, it's only something wrong with that when, to the people that chooses not to practice that, because everybody else is doing it except for, well, the black community. And if you did, they know what that looks like because they got to see what that looked like when they began to segregate and consider themselves wanting to stay away from you, or you can't do the things they do and all of that stuff. Well, integration only started when you started thriving, when they started to see how much you thrive, and when you begin to put yourself in order, when you begin to put yourself first, when they seen that you can operate in structure and law and order and things of that nature. It's very important, right? So I asked you guys a question earlier, like the people that created the United States were running from Great Britain and all the tyranny that they have done. Well, everything that they have done, okay, that Great Britain did to the colonies, the people who started the United States, well, guess what? They have done it to the black race American people, the black African American people in the United States. Every single thing in that Declaration of Independence has been done to you and worse. Okay? Go read it. So now, if they left for that particular reason, then you should literally think about the same thing because self-preservation is a real big thing. So why is it that we're not self-preserved in our own form of government and things like that? Now, that comes down to the question of identity. Everybody drop identity. Identity. Put identity in the chat. Because this is something real, though, of what I'm about to explain to you. Put identity in the chat. Identity. Because this is where we get into a little scuffle about. Like, our people are we Hebrews? Are we Moors? Are we Sumerian people? Are we Chickasaw? Are we Choctaw? Are we Cherokee? Are we out in the wire? Are we Washita? Are we Wichita? Are we Yamasees? Are we all these different things? And we're looking for a form of identity. But here's the thing. When you read the international law, you got to know one thing. The international law says that the people basically have the right to assemble and create a social compact to the benefit of the people, to serve the people in every fashion for the people to meet its ends that they may need throughout life. That's part of international law, which is why the United States was able to create a social compact with all these different people coming from all these different places of the world, right? Because remember, coming to America was an American dream, and they were supposed to come here and establish and create this new world order here, right? Well, the thing is this. They did it. and they were able to do it. So, what is the difference between you? And they identify themselves as Americans or citizens of the United States. And now it is considered to be somewhat of a full blown country or operating as a full government and slash corporation at the same time because of its great economic and military power. Understand that. So my question to you guys is this: what's stopping you from doing the same thing? Just a serious question. Because you're looking for identity. Why can't we just decide and identify whatever it is that we want to be called today? We could clearly just make up a name as long as we all fully agree and create a constitution of that as the people. And we can literally set that up. Now, a lot of you guys don't even understand that they also got this thing called the African diaspora, right? And they labeled the United States era, the diaspora here in America, as the sixth region. How many of you are aware of that? If you are, drop some ones. I'm gonna explain something to you about this. Not saying that we have to go that way or this way or that way. I'm just giving you different ideas of what's going on for you that you might not be aware of. So drop some ones if you know. If you don't, then just say, hey, explain. And a lot of people are afraid of this because you're afraid of death. But without civil liberties and being able to operate freely and protect freedom here, then you're already dead. And that's real. So we have to start thinking about that as well. Okay? Yeah, I'll start thinking about that. So when it comes to being able to create, right, and the African diaspora label, this is the sixth region. What it is considered a form of global government as well. It does have a constitution. It did get rights to the citizenship. They are going to have passport. It is going to allow you to come into places and countries of Africa without a form of a visa and things of that nature. You're going to have you're going to have rights to these particular places. Not only that, it establishes you as a full government here, able and capable of fully carrying on international things with the rest of the world. Now, my point of me saying this is to you guys is the fact that you're not aware of that means that this is what they want to keep you away from. That's why they keep you entertained about so much stuff. Why is it that the conversation of Woody, Young Thug, and all this snitch allegations, why is that so big of a topic for our community today? Instead of you literally sitting here talking about self-preserving and creating and establishing a nation. You know what I'm saying? That's what it takes. We have to fully be self-preserved in ourselves to make sure that we're going to put this race first before anything else. It doesn't mean we hate anybody else. I mean, shit, we've been showing love and loving people for a very long time, even when they cause harm to us. So now it's to the point it's just time to love on us, and it's okay for that. It's okay for us to make the separation, to get ourselves together, because if you're not together, if you are as an individual or not together under the rule of self-preservation, then you're going to go into solitude and you're going to literally get yourself together. And then when you're ready to come out amongst others, when you have yourself together based in the fashion that you see through law, order, justice, freedom, etc., then now we can deal with the rest of the people outside of us. But until that actually happens, this is what makes it so hard, right? You see what I'm saying? And I know that this type of conversations gets shadow banned a lot because they don't want you to know. It's just a real simple thing. And again, it's not hate, it's love. It's love. Why do having love for your people, your race, your nation, etc., why does that have to be inclined in hate? Right? You know, and I had to really start thinking about racism and stuff like that. Yeah, people can hate you. There are going to always be people that hate you and stuff like that, or show flashes of racism to you in different ways. But we as the black community experience that racism so much, and it's not because of the hate. It's more because you don't have your own. You don't have your own, right? What is it like to walk into your city, into your culture, into a city that was built by you strictly? And I'm not saying you as a slave, I'm talking about you as in entrepreneurs and people who have established a city. And now that city is being governed by a nation of people under their constitution and things of that nature. What does that look like for you? Is that even a thought for you? Because we're quick to use the word king, we're quick to use the word queen, things of that nature, and those are terms of rulership. So, what does that really look like for you in that? Are you really truly afraid to walk in that light? Because again, our own problem and the only way that it's going to heal is in order for us to even for God to even talk to us first, we have to get back in order and establish a nation, right? Which is kind of what you see behind me now. That is a nation, right? Um, and yes, we are a small republic at the time, but I can't think of an empire or anything that didn't start off small and then eventually graduate. But a lot of you guys that are other micronations and things like that, such as ourselves, see, you guys get confused because you're looking to be validated by others, these other big republics. But what's the point? We should just be looking to one another as these different republics. Like, I don't care that you're Hebrew. I don't care about any of that because you can still establish constitution, public authority, and the people establish themselves, etc. I don't care that you want to call yourself that. Now, once we get that down packed, now you got your flag, now you got your public authority, which is your constitution. Now you got your people, your judicial system. You got everything set up for your laws, for your people to fully govern themselves. What do I mean by fully govern themselves? That means that if you have any form of disputes, okay, amongst your people, that means that they don't go to another government to handle that dispute. That means that dispute is handled within that particular government. That means you have your own courts to settle your own disputes with your people. That is what you call sovereignty alone, right there, is to govern your people, okay? Sovereignty is not something that's outside of yourself. It's something that is within, right? The same way that you look, okay? Do you have, all right, if you look at it from this perspective, right? Do you need permission from another person to make a decision about your life, right? You don't. So that's sovereignty. Sovereignty is you governing you. If you do something wrong that is out of order for yourself, it's your duty to take yourself to the court of justice within yourself, which is when you feel shame, when you feel, you know, that you have done something wrong, you want to make the corrections into your life. That is still a form of sovereignty. So sovereignty is that what I just said. It's you being able to fully govern yourself. A lot of you picture it as outside of yourself. So now it's like I said, I don't care that you're Hebrew. I don't care about any of that. Now the thing is for our two nations, micronations, etc., is to establish treaty agreements based upon trade, how we're going to treat one another's nationals, etc., in our different cities, compounds, whatever the case may be. And that's it. And based upon what type of dollar are we going to accept amongst our people. That's it. It's literally taking control of the small things first that you have the power to control. Eventually, that's going to grow. But we first have to stop telling people who they is, what they can't be, and all of that, because that's not how international law works. Because it's simple. If people from different walks of races, nationalities, and things like that, if they decided they wanted to establish a social compact for their own common reasons and defense, then there's nothing nobody can do to stop that. So it doesn't, it could be by blood or it could be by other common reasons that you choose to establish a form of government. That's real. But the question is, how many of you actually know this? Now, is this something going to be easy? No, because people hate you. Know that. People don't like you. People don't like you getting outside of what you've been doing because they've been making money off of it. So, of course, they're going to fight to keep you away and keep you distracted from doing these type of things. Of course, they're going to try to make it harder on you to do these type of things. But the thing is, well, That's why you have to be able to, one, live for it as well as die for it. You know, these things don't happen without sacrifice. And the sacrifice is to literally sacrifice the life and time, et cetera, to make sure that we have what we need to have for our self-preservation on every scale, from the lowest scale to the individual, to the family, to the community, to the race, to the nation, to the people, to the government that you're going to create. It has to happen. Like, that is the only way anything is going to change. And you guys sit up here and say, oh, well, why is it different between when a white person gets a bond or for the same crime for as a black person do, et cetera? Well, the only way to even stop any of that, guys, is, like I said, choose you first. That means you have to reestablish yourself. You have to align yourself back into government amongst other nations of people around the world. And the only way to do that is to literally start governing yourself. Seriously, put you first. There's nothing wrong with that. And anybody that's seeing something wrong with that for you, well, now it's clear for you to see who the enemy is for you. It's simple. But we gotta just choose, and it ain't saying you gotta like everything or everybody do. But hey, what we do like is to thrive and survive. So we want to make sure that our people is first, even though I don't like your ass. We still choosing us first, and that's okay. That's why it has to be a greater purpose than yourself. That's the reason why I'm not gonna argue with someone saying they're Moorish or they're this or that. I don't give a who you say you are or what you say you are. If you have established yourself as a people under social compact, etc., great. What we can do is we can do a treaty amongst each other. We can make sure we got our trade agreements and everything like that established and continue to conduct business, build cities together and stuff like that. That's what we need to be looking forward to. The identity situation is nothing because, again, we could call ourselves anything that we want to today. Remember, self-identity is the right to identify self. So who do you identify yourself as? Nobody can tell you that. It's up to you. And if the people have established themselves for that common defense, then so be it. Who can stop that? This has been going on for ages. Ages. Time, thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. This is nothing new. Nothing. Nothing. Drop some ones if you're with me, man. Let me know y'all with me. Let me know you're still here. This is important. So my question is just like, what are we doing to fix it? And it means that we have to literally be able to come down to a common ground of what I'm trying to tell you guys, because so many people, the identity crisis thing, who are we? Where do we come from? Well, know that you are a child of God and you deserve life, liberty, and everything else that any other group of people on this face of the earth has as well. And more if that's what you want, and not to limit yourself to things that they chose not to reach for in the pursuit of happiness, right? So that's what we have to truly understand when it comes to these things. Like, when I look up I'm going to take y'all to the Kentucky Constitution. So if you want to, you can look this up yourself. Look up the Kentucky Constitution. Now, I don't want to hear that, well, the United States is our home now. No, it's not, bro. It is because they had to accept your ass because you ain't had nowhere else to go at the time. But you got to realize this: you were never in mind when they created this. Hence, for the Dred Scott case, the black man has no law for the white man to respect. That's a real thing. Okay. So in the Kentucky Constitution, Section 3 says this, and I want you to pay attention. Words are very, very specific, and I want to read this. It says all men all men, when they form a social compact, are equal. Again, all men, when they form a social compact, are equal. Okay? And no grant of exclusive, separate public emoluments or privileges shall be made to any man or set of men except in consideration of public services. But no property shall be exempt from taxation except as provided in the Constitution. So the first thing they told you is all men, when they form a social compact, are equal. So here's the thing, the black African American man, you're not equal amongst people of the nations around the world because you have no social compact. Simple. You have no social compact here, which really is a form of disgrace to God, because why is it that God has given you a nation, given you a group, given you people, established and given you law and order, a land, and all of these things? That was the whole purpose of reading in the Bible. Land was given, law was given, these things are already given, culture was given. It's always given. A portion of understanding, a portion of knowledge, a portion of talent, a portion was given to all groups of people, not even just all groups of people, certain individuals, etc. Right? That's a real thing. So the question is, are we ready to walk into this matter? Because if you look at the course of history of it, well, we got to creating a political party. All right. After the political party of the Black Panthers and stuff like that. But that's when they actually steered you away, because Noble Drew Ali came saying, basically, we supposed to be a nation of people. Right? Now, for a lot of people that's in the temples right now, it'd be hard for them to understand that, yes, at that particular time, he was saying, I'm going to let them run government until you decide to run government. Meaning, okay, we're not here to overthrow any form of government. And you're not. Because you're not, you starting your own is not overthrowing anything. To overthrow is to go take over somebody else's shit. You're not here for that. You're here to establish fully in your own, right? And until you learn to do that, until you learn to step out into a structure of body to do that, then it becomes the problem. Because now it's just simple. Like if you go and create, you go establish land, you go create cities, you make sure these are put into the trust of whatever government or whatever constitution that you have established. It's able to rule and govern those lands. It's able to create roads, and then they would literally be considered the private roads of that particular nation. But these are all things that we have to really look into. Are we going to keep just doing the same thing? And the same thing is, we're going to keep trying to go into their system, be a part of it, get as many laws changed to come into, to represent us as a people or anything of that nature. And even then, you have to learn how to take care of yourself on an economic level. Are we doing that? Are we even taking advantage of that as economic communities? Financial literacy needs to be fully taught. Being able to build these communities, etc., establishing our own form of municipals and stuff like that. Are we doing that? These are the questions we got to be able to be real with ourselves and ask. And are we willing to take the time to move forward and act on those things? If we're not, then that's the problem. That's the whole entire problem for us. And if we don't, then we're going to be sitting here going through the same stuff and worse, because you have the opportunity. And we can't even keep making excuses. Yes, we know what we've been through. So we should learn from the past. Like, what does the past say about us? What did we go through? What was held against us, etc. And where were we supposed to be going from there? What is it that they don't want you to do? Because if you go back far enough, you're going to see what you had. And then you're going to be like, hold on, if we had that, then that means I'm supposed to have that still to this day. And why don't I have that? And what does it take to get that? So we all know before you were considered a slave, prisoner of war, etc., that you owned kingdoms. right? We know that. So why is that not where you're trying to reach back to? Has that been taken away from you? Do you still feel like it's impossible to do so? Because if not, I mean, if so, then you're leaving that burden onto your children, and they're only going to be instilled into them what, well, I guess what you keep passing on, and what we call generational curses. But the land, I still feel like it cannot be healed. The land cannot be healed. The people cannot be healed until they fully start accepting self preservation on all levels. We have to do that. And if we do not do that, then it's like we're accepting defeat. Because again, y'all always say, like right now, that, you can't heal where you was hurt or harmed at. So if we were hurt and harmed in this particular system, how are you ever going to heal? How are you going to even heal in a system that was created to cause you harm and still is hidden in certain ways to still cause you harm? So how can you heal in that system? When do you step away and create a system that heals you, that makes sure that you thrive, right? And the only way we can do that, again, like I say, is by choosing you first. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you're not, and I'm gonna say this now, what if you're not choosing you first as an individual to establish yourself for your family, to establish yourself for yourself first, then that should be an overflow into your family, and then from an overflow into your family, into your community and nation, and so on. That is how it has to be. If that's not what's happening into your life, then you need to reevaluate everything that's going on, and you need to get yourself around a stronger foundation. And right now, the Black community is on a very, very weak foundation because that foundation was built by someone else that meant for it to be weak for you. Right? That is the truth. And they're not going to worry about fixing any of this for you. So don't look for them to do it, because they're the one that caused the situation. Well, we caused the situation to happen to ourselves, to be honest with you. But we got to be able to make the change and willing to make the change. And what that look like could look like anything. We can sit here and, like I say, fight, argue about a name, who we are, whatever. But the truth is, we deserve government just like anybody else. We deserve justice and being able to establish justice and bring justice for our own people, just like anybody else on the face of this earth. We have every right to the soil of this earth, just like any other human being does as well. Now, the thing is are we taking advantage of that, and are we truly establishing that? Because nobody has the best interest of you doing anything. They don't care. They use it for the likeness of their agenda. But everybody has an agenda for you. When do you create your own agenda for you and stop voting and having to think about a vote? Because if we already took care of us, we could care less who walked into a presidential seat. It would not matter at all. We could care less about who was going to go and be the president or who was going to go be a governor, or we wouldn't care at all. But number one, we would know the law. You know what I'm saying? And we would know exactly what to do. And I think a lot of things are out of order because of that. What's the name of that movie? I can't even think of the name of it, but it's a movie where it's about these dragons, and one of the dragons' name was Sisu, but they had a land, and the land was of these different clans, and these different clans was different parts of the dragon. The land was shaped like a dragon, and the land was supposed to be in harmony as in one of people, and they all had different culture and different ways of doing things, but as the land of the people, they were still one, and they had to operate in harmony in order for the land to continue to flow the way it's supposed to, right? It has to be that way. And so I feel like when we, as the Black African American so-called people, we're the ones that's out of order. So if we're out of order, we are creating a form of chaos, not only just for us, but for everyone else who's falling into these things, because we're supposed to be in a set of form of rulership as well. And since we're not, it's going to cause an unbalance. And that is what we have going on here today. It is a unbalance and a disconnection of the people around the world, especially the so-called black people around the whole entire earth. There is a disconnection of you being able to communicate, trade, and balance things out the way they're supposed to be. And again, that literally means that we have to go back to still choosing you first. And it ain't no difference than you choosing your family first. It don't mean that you don't help other people, other races, other nations, etc. But I mean, shit, I can't help you if I can't feed you if we ain't got no food over here because our people don't grow food. You see what I'm saying? But if we take care of us first and make sure we got food over here to eat and then we got abundance and overflow, then yes, we can share. We can take care. We can do this. We can do certain big trades and things like that with each other. But until we establish that, we can't offer anything. Right? If you're tired of being told no, then start building your own. That way you already told yourself yes, and based upon what you want to do and how you want to move. But again, we just have to take this into real consideration, being able to move and being able to operate and not having any form of fear in doing this at all. Is it going to take time? Absolutely. But if we already give purpose, like our children don't even got purpose. They turn 18, 20, stuff like that. They don't know what the hell to do for life. Man, I don't even know what else to do. I'm still trying to figure out life. Bro, life is already figured out if we give them a purpose. They would know what they have to do. They would know to continue this purpose. They would live and die for it just like you have. Because one thing about that, one thing they can't stop is the will. The will of man is very powerful. It is that of the will of our Father in heaven who had the will to create the universe. You got that same willpower. So the fact that if man decides to do it, they focus on it and say that they're going to do it and they operate in the willpower, time plus consistency equals growth, and they show perseverance, which is a point of showing the will is to persevere. So once you do that, it is going to happen. I don't care what it is that we want to do. We will eventually get there. That's what we got to be able to focus on and prepare ourselves. So everybody that's under the sound of my voice right now, especially in the black community, look at your children. Is that something that you would want to establish for your children and for them to have? And if so, man, pick up the book. Start reading. Start reading the Law of Nations and the Law of Nature. Go look up that PDF. Okay? Law of Nations. Okay? Go look that up. Go read it. You know what I'm saying? Read it to the fullest so you can fully understand what it is that we supposed to be doing. And that's just what it is. Right? So I'm saying this to all the different black communities or so-called black organization groups, Moorish groups or whatever. Like, stop fighting over the identity. The identity is not even anything to fight over because we could call ourselves the Zulumug people today. And the Zulumug people hereby establish this constitution, and we identify as the Zulumug people. And we could say for whatever reason why we do, right? And right then and there, we can establish full public authority constitution. We can take all our land that we have, convey it to this particular entity, and it give it back to us in equity. We can say the constitution of that governs our land, our people, and that's a start. Seriously, that's a start. So I just really feel like it's the identity part is not so much as to argue over. It's not. If you want to be the Hebrew Israelites, well, establish yourself as the Hebrew Israelite people and establish a constitution and so on, and start governing yourselves as such. All right, and start doing treaties with your other brothers and sisters, etc., the Moorish groups and all of that, and start establishing these things and establishing land with one another. Other than that, we're wasting our freaking time. I don't got time to argue with you about if Moorish National Republic of Peace is a real thing or not. We know we are. We know what we do. As people we helped, when they come and talk to me, I'm a very real person that you're hearing my voice now, and I am the Grand Wazir of MNRP. I am the head of the state. So if that is my point, there's nobody who can take that, especially if my people who see me as such has placed me in this position as such as well. We just literally governing ourselves, not causing anybody else harm. We are here. We go and do other commerce and trade through other parts of countries and stuff like that. We do it too, but we are open to establish treaties and agreements and just sit downs and being able to literally talk and see what is the future of preserving ourselves, no matter what, and no matter what you may see us in that light. But that is it for me tonight, guys. I appreciate you guys, man. I just wanted to get on here and see, and looks like everything is running great. Again, as always, hope you guys appreciate the conversation. Continue to follow us. We do have class tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, so make sure that you be here. This class is about trial warfare, so we're going to teach you guys exactly what to do while going through trial, how to operate, and things of that nature as well. So make sure that you be there. Peace, love, and